introduction talk. Et je sais qu'il y a des personnes qui me regardent qui ne parlent que français. Mais après, je vais essayer de faire une petite traduction. I have some French followers, so after a while, I'm going to do some translation so they can follow. One thing I'm learning about myself and my boundaries and weaknesses is that no matter how strong my boundaries are, I tend to exercise my boundaries more with men and customers than I do with people that I know or people who are family to me or acquaintance. And let me explain that. For my business, I can be like very, very professional and I want everything to go by the rules, by the policies. This is the terms and conditions. Here is the invoice. Here is your receipt. I want everything to just follow the usual path that has been designed for it. And also with men, I also understand setting up boundaries with men. So like I've always told people that I've not been disrespected in any intimate relationship. You know, growing up, I've had people who wanted to take advantage of me. I've had people who almost raped me. I had people who wanted to violate me in different ways. And I was able to escape such scenarios. Sometimes I got hurt, sometimes I got bruised, sometimes I hurt somebody in the process of escaping because you have to fight for your life. But as an adult, understanding relationships as they are now, I have better, stronger boundaries. And trust me, even if you have boundaries, if a rapist comes around you, you're still in a danger zone, okay? So I have stronger boundaries now. I love myself so much. I've always loved myself, by the way, but I love myself so much more now. It's like the more you get to know someone, the more you fall in love with them. I love myself so much more now that actually my room is neat and clean. And I had a friend come around by the door a few seconds ago, and I was like, nah, it's not very neat, that kind of thing. Just because I wanted to. I love spending time with myself. I enjoy being alone. I enjoy being alone. I enjoy minding my business. I enjoy loving me, taking care of myself, see a movie, eat something I like, work on a project, you know, push myself to the limits, try something new. I enjoy all the possibilities that this machine or this person called me can do. And sometimes some people don't understand it, so I go from spending time with them to explaining myself to them. So that's why most times I don't like to spend time with people. Like when I went for the picnic 2 days ago, I didn't want to hang out with people. I had my own duvet that I spread. I had my own everything. It's good, to be with people and commune with them, but I just didn't. Where people were gathered together, I knew it was going to be an oversharing group. I don't like to share. I don't like to share things about myself. I don't like to tell people stuff about me. People have looked for me several times. I only created a page for myself on Facebook because I knew I had a lot of people stalking and wanting to see me. So I created it for professional reasons, just in case I drop my CV with you and you want to stalk me on social media and you're not able to find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere. They're not able to find me. If you try to use my name to find me on any social media, they've tried. You won't find me. You probably find my siblings, but then when you try to go through my siblings to find me, you're not going to find me, no matter how smart you are. So I tried to create a link, and so I connected. I'm not going to tell you guys. I connected some things, so in case anybody thinks they're smart, these are the dots they're going to join before they say, okay, yeah, they found me. I'm that kind of person that I just want to be by myself. I enjoy being by myself, and when I'm with people, especially people in this country, they have a different way of living. I'm from Nigeria, so the way I live my life is like so unique, so special, so wow. I'm not saying all Nigerians are like me. I'm just saying that being Nigerian, in addition to my personality, is like an amazing combination. And to a lot of people, they've never seen it before. So when I sit down with people in such gatherings, I just realize that people are always talking about themselves, and I don't like to be in those kind of oversharing groups. So at the picnic, I just stayed in my own zone. Someone even took a picture of me far away from everyone. Like someone came to me one time in church. I was like, "Why did you talk to people?" Like I talk to people. In my mind, I'm like, I just don't talk to you because we're not going to enjoy each other's conversations. So I realized that when at one time I went to sit down with someone just to sit down with them for sitting's sake, and so they don't say, "Oh, she's always eating alone." I enjoy eating alone. I don't enjoy people talking on my food. I don't enjoy people having conversations when we're eating. I want to just eat alone. I don't want to see your mouth move when you're stuffing food in your head. I don't want to see that. I don't like to sit and eat with people unless maybe my family, because I know everyone in my family, we have good table manners. We were well raised, eat with your mouth closed, that kind of thing. But most times when you're eating with people in this part of the world, many of them are eating and coughing and blowing their nose at the same time. So I prefer to just eat alone. So I just said, let me eat with these people on this particular day. And the first thing that happened, I brought out my own cutlery from my bag. And I brought out my own cutlery from my bag. And someone started asking me questions. You bring your own cutlery? And I'm like, look at this place. How long do you think this place has been existing for? Do you think that they change their cutlery every time? Of course, they probably sanitize it, but just imagine sitting down knowing that that spoon you're using has been used by 500 other people. I trying to just make it weird for them. Then the conversations just went on and on. Oh, your accent, you have an accent. Where are you from? I'm from Nigeria. Oh, yeah, okay, I heard your accent. I want to learn English too. Then the conversations just keep spiraling, and you realize I'm not able to eat anymore because now people are talking, the three people there are talking about me. I'm not able to eat anymore. I'm just like some kind of object that they're analyzing or admiring. I don't even know. So I can't eat. My food is getting cold, and I'm busy explaining myself why I have my own cutlery, why I have my own spices in my bag, why I speak with a certain accent, why I mind my business. It was just getting too much. So I started to realize that I understand personal boundaries. I love myself so much. I maintain professional boundaries with my customers. I maintain real solid boundaries when it comes to men. But then when it comes to these particular people, I don't have these boundaries anymore. Let me name them. People I know because we come from a certain group in the past, like maybe secondary school or a certain association. We are association people, family, and people who were friends with me in the past. So in 2023, one of the biggest hits that happened to my business, and not just because of how much this person owes me, but also because of the opportunities I missed because um, I was focusing on this person's work, was that I already have a solid rule that I don't pick phone calls, especially if they're business calls. I don't take business instructions on the phone. I don't take business calls. But I was taking this person's call because we used to sit together. Listen to the dumb reason. Because we used to sit together at a restaurant or the coffee house from where I work from home. Because they have steady electricity and I get to see people and meet people and build connections there. So she decided she wanted to go into business with me. The first one, I invoiced her, we discussed, she paid. The second one, she started making them come up as emergencies, as urgencies, and I was working like delivering fast. And the results for hard work and better and good work is more work. I was delivering fast. She was piling up more work, all at the same time, dropping the instructions on the phone, something I said I would never do. At the end of the day, her bills have compounded and she's refusing to pay. We go to court. We decide to have settlement, and then she wants to have a talk with me, and she's saying, love, because and I'm like, okay, concession time. I give her a discount on the amount. To give her settlement documents to sign, she refuses to sign. She's refusing to pay. So court continues, and the rest is history. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the one that happened on the 29th of May again. Someone came like it was an emergency, and I said, okay, let me just do it. She hadn't paid. I just had faith that she was going to pay because we know from secondary school. Secondary school was 100 years ago. That was a dumb reason too. And also the second reason was because if she wasn't going to pay, I know two people that still know her. In the end, she didn't want to pay. I actually said, okay, how much are you willing to pay? Then she brought up this small amount. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't take that amount from people. What? That's like 62 euros. God forbid. I don't take that amount for my time, for my effort, for my knowledge. You're not paying me for my time. I'm not a manual worker. You're not paying me for my time. So this means there's acknowledgement of the fact that you owe me. I gave you a bill. I delivered urgently as you wanted. You didn't pay. I give you an opportunity to bargain, to negotiate. Give a small figure, and I'm like, I'm just going to use the small claims court and the anti-fraud, because at this point, this is not a struggling debtor. This is a debtor that doesn't want to pay, that clearly came to defraud me and blocked me after I delivered the service. So currently I'm making this video because on Saturday I was just thinking, why do I do this? Because of my friends and my family and people I know that are not even friends. In March, one person I called my friend, because from 2020 I started being careful about who bears the title of friend. So in March, I caught up from this one person that my sister said, oh, that's your ride or die friend. I caught up because I realized that the friendship was abusive. It wasn't one-sided, it was a good friendship. But it was a lot of emotional pressure on me. There was such an imbalance that this person was kind of looking at me like a kid sister and had no respect for me. Let's just put it that way in the relationship. But when it comes to, the relationship, the friendship being mutually beneficial, because one of the reasons why I agreed for her to be my friend was because I liked the way she handled business. And so it was mutually beneficial, But when it came to being respected as a person, I wasn't getting that. And so in March, push to shove, last straw, camel's back, and I'm like, I have to speak up. And, normally a narcissist, when you speak up, the way they react. So it ended up with tantrums, insults from nowhere, and all that. And then I figured she was already, doing a lot of things like ending the friendship and all, calling my sisters and different things. So I said, okay, if you want to do that, you owe me so amount, because in that friendship too, I was always lending money, not getting it back, lending again, not getting it back, lending again. So I said, you owe me. And then she just immediately sent the money to my account, and I'm like, no, that's not the only amount you owe me. And I started mentioning all the amounts she owes me, and then she said I'm a very terrible person for not reminding her. That was the first time in my life I'm realizing that you allowing someone to pay when they can is you being a wicked person. How can you be a wicked person because you want someone to pay you when they can? Why are you not the wicked person for owing me for such a long time? Why am I the wicked person for being patient with you? Because I'm wealthy enough to forget that amount of money with you. But for the sake of prudence and for the sake of being a businesswoman, I need my money back, because just because we have doesn't mean we should give it away and forget about it. That's not how you build wealth. So she said I was a terrible person for reminding her of the money, for reminding her late. I'm like, I always reminded you back then. You were in a deep situation where you couldn't give me the money. That's why I kept quiet, because you were my friend. But then I became a terrible person. She didn't want to read the explanation for why I didn't remind her after all this while. Why I'm making this video now is because someone wants to call me and I don't want to take a business call. And I've already established it with my family. I'm not taking a business call. But this person still wants to call me. And I've told this person over and over again, send me a voice message or a long message. If you can't send a long message, send me a voice message. She said she prefers to call. I don't like phone calls. If you like phone calls, let me know. Hi, Tani Manu. I don't like phone calls. I don't like phone calls. Phone calls mean I'm just living my life, minding my business. You call me, immediately everything in my life shuts down, because like you're watching this now, you can go offline, come back anytime, because it's not two-way. You can always watch the video another time. But a phone call means I have to be there, and the only time I can leave is when you are ready to leave, or when I pretend that my network is gone off, or I turn off my turn on my airplane mode. That's how phone calls are. They just intercept your life and you can't get out of them until the other person says it's time to go or till the network says it's time to go. That's why I don't like phone calls. So this person is insistent. It's been a month now that she's been trying to make this phone call. And I've been pushing the phone call and it's been a month. And even when I tell her, send a voice note, even until last night, she sent me a message saying, can I call you now? You can't call me. It's 11. I sleep at 7 or 8. And then she texts me again, can I call you now? And I'm like, I don't know how to say it clearly. Like, I don't take phone calls. I've told people in business, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. I've told people in business, I can tell men, but now when it comes to people that, okay, we're alumni somewhere, or we know from somewhere, or we have a friend in common, I just don't know how to tell this person, like, look, the way I see it, now we're at a point where she definitely wants a phone call, and I definitely don't want a phone call. I want a voice note or a message. I want to see it and reply. That's how I am. I want to see it and reply. And one thing about phone calls is that la personne qui veut t'appeler, the person who wants to call you, la personne a déjà pensé. The person has already thought about everything they're going to tell you. Mais toi qui es la personne qui va recevoir l'appel, you who are the person who's going to receive the call is going to come to you as a shock. That's one thing about phone calls. The person who wants to call you has thought about everything they'll tell you. You don't know anything about when the call is going to come in or what the call is going to be about. Someone just calls you and then there's an entirely new topic in your life that you've never thought about. And it can change the course of your whole day, sometimes your whole life. And the thing with business phone calls is that person wants a response now. They know you're not recording. And this happened to me before. This is the reason why I stopped taking business phone calls. A customer called me. I said, okay, we moved on with the business. After a while, the customer told me they want a refund, that I promised a refund. I'm like, I don't do that. I've never promised a refund. Check all of my marketing. I've never promised anybody a refund. It was for a French class. Check this out, guys. Give me a minute. Okay, let me finish this. Check this out. This person is in my class. The class starts in August. This person is in my class. He's very interested. Before the class ends, before the end of August, he's paid for September. Before the end of September, he paid for extra 2 months for October and November. 2019. And then he was one of the best students in my class. And it came to COVID April. He sent me a message saying, it's been so months and I still don't speak French. I want my money back. I'm like, what? I've never heard of this before. You were in my class August. You didn't tell me you wanted your money back. You were one of the best in my class. You're always answering questions. You're always speaking. Before the end of August, you paid me for September. And he's like, yes, I wasn't even understanding anything. And I said, but you kept paying. But you're always communicating in class. You kept paying. I just told him, I was like, I know what's going on now. Lockdown is driving a lot of people crazy. And you're probably broke. And you think that maybe because you put a lot of money into my course, you want to get your money back by saying, I promised you a refund. I don't promise customers refund. I share knowledge. When I share knowledge, if I give you a refund, what do you give me back? When I share knowledge and I give you a refund, what do I get back from you? The air, the wind. I've shared knowledge. You can give me back knowledge. I don't ever promise that kind of thing. And he kept saying, I did. I don't. I said, I'm on a phone call. I don't. And now because of that person that I stopped taking, let me mark his name just in case I forget in future. His name is Mosele. So I'm like, does he forget this? At that point, I was even sick. But not as in physically sick. It was like, yeah, this time you're using to explain all of this. You could have just made the transfer. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm sick, but I'm not dying. So I'm not doing that. So that's when I stopped taking business phone calls. And now this lady wants to call me. She's a nice lady, but I don't want to do business phone calls. So I'm trying to train myself to a point where I'm no longer a doormat because I think of something, maybe some sentiments like we belong to the same group. I want to keep my boundaries up and stay professional no matter what. And I know there's someone watching who's probably having the same challenge in life. And I pray that God helps you as you consciously, because I'm consciously now being aware of all of these weaknesses. So I pray that you consciously be aware of the moments that You might be caught in your weakness, like, oh, we belong to the same alumni group. You're not even friends. Oh, we are friends. But they won't even do the same for you. Okay, no, if there are friends that do the same for you. Okay, they're your friends, but they probably you have a policy. It's not about, it's just about you have a policy. You have a personal policy that protects you. When do you let your boundaries down for people, knowing the consequences that you've had with this in the past? Thanks so much for watching. God bless you. Love you. Gotta go check my food. Bye.